So tonight I'm working on the exhaust for this rock crawler. So this is a V6, so I've got exhaust headers on both sides of the motor, and so I have to tie them together and then go back to a muffler and out the side. So I try to keep this as simple as possible. What I have to do is come out the one header and then also have an O2 sensor bung go around the front of the motor over to the other side where the other side header drops in, and then I go to a small piece of flex pipe and then out the muffler. So I try to keep it as simple as possible and to fit it all in there and as short as possible. I'm reusing the stock headers because they're small and tight to the motor, and it's just that much easier. So that's my plan. So what I like to do is get these pre-bent pieces, just like this. And this makes it really easy for lining everything up, and you can cut these where you want and then weld them together. There's a ton of possibilities for them. I think it's one of the quicker and easier ways to do this, but there's a lot of different ways to do something. Another way that people do is to cut pie cuts in these, and then they can kind of form them in tighter areas as well. The only problem with pie cuts for me is it's a ton of welding, and I try to minimize the amount of welding that I have to do. Not because I don't like welding, but because I've already been welding for what feels like months on this anyway. So I'm just not in the mood to take on that much more welding. So I feel like this cuts down on the amount of welding that I have to do because I get longer runs out of it between welds. So that's my plan for getting the exhaust run in this. So I've got a little punch list going on the chalkboard back there of just things that I'm trying to get taken care of, just little side projects that I need to get done. And my kids also started drawing down lower there, so I don't know what the lower stuff is. They just were drawing on it. And that's what that chalkboard's mainly for, is for the kids to play with. But regardless, I am working on the exhaust now. And so how this is going to work, this is going to come out of the front of out of the driver's side of the motor, then go around the front of the motor and then over to the other side, where the other side of the motor will dump into here as well. So that's what I'm working on. I have a hole right here for my O2 sensor, and I have a weld-in bung that you just weld right to it that you can screw an O2 sensor for. I've got one for each side of the motor. These stock headers keep everything tight to the motor and where I need it, so just the easiest thing to use. I'm not the best at welding this thinner stuff, but the only way you get better is to keep practicing, so just going to keep chipping away at it. So this is the driver's side, goes around the front of the motor over to the passenger side where I have an increaser. This will step it up a size, and then the other side header will dump into this. And then it'll go through a little flex piece and then through an exhaust. I've got a pretty good size muffler for it because I like my stuff quiet. I like to be able to hear things. So that's my plan for the exhaust. It's going to be very simple, pretty short overall. So that's kind of how I'm working this. One thing to note, there's my oxygen sensor bung, my O2 sensor bung. So right there is my exhaust. It's going to wrap around, try to be steady. It's going to wrap around the front like so. It's going to wrap around the front like that and go to the other side and see from right here. It's a very tight fit. So I've got a lot of different projects going on in here right now, And so I've got the wire harness that I've kind of started laying out just to kind of see how it's going to fall in place and seeing what I all need to do to that. And I've got my exhaust right here. So what I'm doing is it's running right through there, and it's a good size. It's a 6-inch diameter muffler. But like I said, I like my rock crawlers quiet. So, and then I've got my seat brackets that go across right here that have tabs. They have tabs down there and right here, and they go to the seat just like this. There's 2 hard mounted, and then we have the ones that run on the tube across there. So we have our exhaust coming out the exhaust, dropping down. We have the exhaust dropping down the header and tying into the other side, and then coming through the muffler right there. So that header also has an O2 sensor bung on it. So keeping everything as simple as possible, that's my goal. I always try to keep it simple. So right here, I'm working on the dash. And so what I'm going to do is, this is removable. I'm trying something different here. I was going to keep this wider, but I narrowed it, and then I'm going to make it removable so that this can all come out. Everything that's going to be attached, there's going to be crossbars going across there, and all the shifters will be attached to right there, and that will be fully removable in the event I need to pull this transmission. So that's my plan for that. That just kind of started tacking it in place. I got to clean things up a little bit, and but I'm just kind of getting a general idea how I'm going to do it. And there's where the floor plan panel go. And so I'm trying to figure out where everything's going to go right now. That's kind of my goal. Here's kind of a shot from the side. I got my muffler, got a mount with a removable bracket. I need to finish the mount on the back of the muffler. Both mounts will allow the exhaust to move up. The rear mount will be on a removable tube, and then you can disconnect it at the header. So the entire exhaust system will be fully removable.